Hi everybody, Taylor Johnson, the North Star Group at Keller Williams, and I am standing here in a multifamily in Boston with my favorite home inspector, Ron Rocha of Cardinal Home Inspection. And he is going to give us a little walkthrough in the basement of some things that we would look for, right, why is it super important to get a home inspector, right? There's a lot of people who here in this super competitive market, right, are waiving home inspections. Well, there's, pre-home inspections, there are ways that you can do it and still be super competitive. And even if you did go the route of waiving your home inspection entirely, you should still do it after you close. No news is not good news. And honestly, Ron's gonna go through this basement with us today, and he hasn't even seen it. I guarantee we're gonna find some things that he's gonna show you what you need to look out for, what you need to maintain, and most people don't know about that. But first, I wanna ask Ron a bunch of questions about how long you've been doing it and when did you get started?
I got started somewhere in 2015, 16, about 9 years.
Okay.
Change of careers for me.
Really? What did you do before?
I worked for a large telecommunications company.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No names, no disclosures.
No names, no disclosures.
We don't need any lawsuits.
In their construction department.
Okay.
No names, no lawsuits. I met up with a home inspector who had been doing it for over 25 years. I'm the only person he ever trained. He trained me, introduced me to all the things I need to know to be a home inspector. Before I worked for a large communications company, as a younger man, my father was a builder. I built homes and did renovations and things like that.
Awesome.
And that's my major background.
So you're a general contractor?
Before, not now. I don't have my license go. I don't have anything now.
Okay, nice. Awesome. And where did you grow up? Where do you serve? Where's your market region?
I would say I am generally inside of 495, Boston and all around, suburbs, north, south, east, west. Go outside of 495 once in a while.
Okay.
What you ask me to.
Yeah, I've made you drive.
Mostly in the city like this, a lot of three families, Dorchester, South Boston, where all the building is.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and we have very old homes, so there's a lot to look at.
Lot to look at.
A lot of work that wasn't done correctly.
There'll be a lot in the basement.
Yeah.
The basement's where all the money is, unfortunately.
Exactly, and that's where I wanted to get you guys.
In a home inspection, things that can cost you a lot. Heat, electric, structure, things like that.
Yeah, foundation's a big one, right?
Foundation's a real big one.
Roof
is a big one.
And if we have fire damage, it's not usually the fire that causes all the issues. It's the water putting out that fire that you have to deal with. Exactly.
Correct.
Well, so you're cool. You ready to get downstairs?
Downstairs, take a look.
And start ripping this place apart, see what we find and what you guys don't necessarily know what you're looking for. And again, remember this original build on this house was 1900, and most of Boston, that's what they say, right? They may not know the exact date, but call it 1900, late 1800s, early 1900s. So there's going to be tons of, like we said, repairs that were done maybe without a permit, maybe no repairs at all. So let's go see what we find.
Let's see what we find.
All right.
So we have one panel is fused. I'm going to say this is for unit 1. A modern panel would be obviously a circuit breaker setup. Fuses are safe and they work, but we prefer to see circuit breakers. They're safer, so to speak. Which I wonder why they updated these and didn't update that, but that's for another.
That's for someone else to decide.
Someone else to decide. These are sub panels. Meters are located in the basement. They allow you to do that in Boston.
Yeah.
On your home in the suburbs, it's more likely it's on the outside.
Yeah.
But
is your shut off?
It's a shut off. It's a 40 amp.
This would be the common panel.
Common panel. Things to run things like lights in the hallways, lights in the basement, stuff like that. Do we want to open a panel? Do you want to open the panel?
Go for it.
Go for it.
Do what you do, man.
These are power shutoffs for second and third floor, and they have a box like this up in their unit. Mm-hmm. Is what we do. And if we're doing a home inspection, we would open the panel up there. There's no reason to open this because it's just a main shutoff. Each unit has 100. We wouldn't open a panel like this or pull this fuse because this is plastic. It may break because it's old. So we'd just say.
And those are the old school, right? So when someone's running out of power, right? When they're using too much power and the lights shut off.
Sure.
Today you come downstairs, you flip your switch on and off, and your power comes back on. This, you've overloaded it. The fuse, you have to unscrew it, and you have to screw in a new fuse. It's a much more antiquated system. You'll see a bunch of extras left on top, like there's 2 over here. But you know, this is something you definitely, if you're buying a house, right, know what your electric is. Is it 100 amps? Is it 200 amps? Are you a musician and you're gonna blow this place out and you're running all your stuff on electric and you need 400 amps? What are you running on as your power and your main coming in? And what are your services, and are they, worst case, knob and tube? Are you gonna have some fuses, right? Do we have the Romex wiring? These are all things that you need your home inspector to look for you. So, very important.
Things like they're running 15 amp fuses, there's a 20 here. Chances are someone's trying to run a hair dryer or AC, and they threw a 20 in.
Yeah.
Where 15 should be. That's not safe. Now it's drawing too more.
It's drawing too much power. Exactly.
Wiring gets hot, so you want a modern.
That's why we also look for the modern wiring, right? Because we don't want that older wiring that's ungrounded to get overheated and cause a fire.
No. All right. We're just not gonna open the panel today. It's
No,
just
that's fine.
Just a plain panel.
That's good. And we just want to give the people a little bit of a taste.
Well, right here are our gas meters for each unit. Gas meters are pretty simple. You can tell when they were put in by the stickers. 2019, 2017, 2016.
Oh, fun.
The gas company will call you and harass you when they need to change the meter. It's like every 5 to 7 years they switch it, so they know it's calibrated.
And they're pulling them all outside, at least where I live.
They're trying to move them all outside so they can service them without having to get access. A lot of times in Boston, though, there's no.
Yeah, there's no.
The home sits right on the sidewalk, so there's no space.
Yep.
Then we have our water line here.
While we're here, we look like we have a hole we could look at.
and we have a hole. Well, it looks like they pulled out an old pipe, maybe an old water pipe. This water pipe is newer because it is, just by scratching it, it's a brass water pipe. Sometimes in these old 1900 houses, the water pipes are lead, and you want to have them changed out. You want to call the city of Boston and they'll change it out. And this is your water meter.
That's how they know how much to charge you.
They know how to charge you. This little black wire goes up to a reader outside where they can read it. This is a ground for your electric.
Yep, so it's in a conduit.
So the foundation doesn't look too bad. It's been patched a little bit while we're here. There's a couple holes. It could always stand a little more patching. It's a stone foundation, so there are times where you're going to come and fill the holes in and patch them with mortar and things like that. Let's see, as we just move around, we're going to go over here to the heat, because we've done our electric, our water. We'll see what the water heater looks like and the heating system. We have 3 hot water tanks. Now,
those look newer.
They look newer. Everything, we're looking for a water tank. We're looking for shutoffs. We're looking for the valve in case it gets too hot, and the pipe that goes all the way almost to the floor. And we're looking to make sure that the connection to the chimney, the exhaust, is correct, that they're not above the heating system, which they're below.
What was that? That they need to be what?
These need to be below the heating system exhaust.
Oh.
Not above it. Because the heating exhaust is more forceful. Well, there's many reasons. Let's just say it needs to be below, just when you look at it. That there's a shutoff. We check the date to make sure they're not too old. Usually about 10 years on a water heater. 2017, so not too old on this one.
But if it's 10 years, we only got a few left.
You only get a few left. 2016, we're getting there on that one. This one has a little leak going on. As you can see at the top of it, these pipes are corroded. When you get to similar metals, you have copper touching brass, they start to oxidize and things like this. These have been here for a while, and this one's
at least 2016.
At least 2016. It's time for a new water heater here.
And when you get the plumber to do that, you got to have him change those pipes.
He's going to change those pipes.
Exactly.
From here.
Or she.
Or she, whoever you get. This one, and they're all gas. The gas ones usually have this little ignition that has hot and very hot. So you can change the temperature of the water yourself if you want. Next one, let's see. 2021, another newer one. Not the best connection there, as you can see. I can see it was hanging out. And that's your exhaust from your system. And you want that to be nice and tight and mortared around so that it doesn't move. This one, they obviously cut a corner on. I didn't get that. They might have pulled out an old one and pushed in a new one.
And they didn't put any new mortar.
They didn't put any new mortar. So you're gonna wanna have that closed. Now there are 3 forced air heating systems down here in different states. At least they're labeled. Someone actually had a black Man, that's one of the easiest things you can do in your house is get a black Sharpie and label things, especially in multis, or at least write in on your electric panel what each circuit goes to, so that it makes it easier for you or anyone else after you. That comes in. So first in these, we turn them on. We turn your thermostats on. We make sure they work. If they have air conditioning, we make sure they work. These are all just heating systems.
Unless it's the winter, right? Can't test AC in the winter.
Unless it's the winter, unless it's below 50 degrees, then we don't test.
People ask,
we don't
and you
test AC.
gotta tell them.
Then we look for labels. We see what kind it is, serial numbers, and we try to get an age on it. An average heating system, I'd say manufacturers will usually give you a lifespan between, we'll say 20 and 25, is what it is for most. We see them older, we see them younger, fail, but mostly somewhere in between there. So just to give a person when they're buying a house, they know whether they have a newer system or an older system. Because if you live there long enough, you will replace your water heater and your heating system. We're gonna say this one's out of the 60s.
Oh, it's that old, huh?
This one's that old. Yeah, nowadays usually when they do they give you a zip code on the end of it.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. Sometimes the Uticas are different, but
either way, right?
serial number. Either way,
We're here with a new homeowner
this is
looking
data.
at buying this house, right? That we're gonna tell them that this thing it's
could be-
still working, but it's probably time.
If something's over 25, 30 years, I honestly just say it's past its expected life expectancy. Expect it that the next.
Could be this winter.
Could be this winter, could be next winter. You will replace this sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
And this one's just been left open. There's no filter in it. Metal ductwork. When you see metal ductwork with no insulation, there's usually no air conditioning. In a modern unit, this would be the heat, and that would be your evaporator coil, and these would be insulated ducts, and you would have air conditioning. There's a lot going on in this basement. Let's go to the other,
I knew
the other
it
two
was
heating
worth your
systems.
while. What'd you find?
This is the service coming from the street. So this is actually a fused panel with sort of a Frankenstein switch. So the entire building only has 100 amps.
Wow.
Everything after this are subs. After the meter, they divide it up. And you have 100, but there's only 100 coming in because they'll say 100.
That's not a lot of power.
You should have a lock on this. You shouldn't allow anyone to get in with children or anything like that. If you blow the fuse in the house, you have to be brave enough to reach in there, pull that out, and put a fuse back in.
Where's the fuse on there?
1, 2.
Oh, those fuses.
I always recommend when I see these to update them to a modern circuit breaker.
Well, yeah, and bring in more service.
Bring in 400 amp service and cut it up 100 for the common panel. So there's enough
power for everything and the window ACs and all
It's a large building and the units are big enough. This is an old style wrap. It may be asbestos. You don't know till you test it. It looks like it is.
Yeah.
You'd have to have someone test that and then remove it. It's probably asbestos. The ceiling was
Horsehair.
horsehair plaster, which is drying, and horsehair plaster is great, but when it's 125 years old.
When it's brand new?
When it's brand new, but it starts to dry and come down, and then it's very messy. People see cracks like this and they panic. That's called checking. A crack can go that way in a beam. You just don't want a crack going vertically through it. That's just the wood drying out over time. And that's not even that bad. The metal posts, like you said, there's a lot of water down here. They don't look too bad. They're sitting on piers. The pier looks like it's still in place. It's not exactly straight. They may want to straighten it. I can see daylight around this window. That's where you let bugs and things in. Maybe some mice. Those are pretty big for mice. So the basement door is just an old wooden door that has no handles, no locks or anything. So from the outside, you can't even unlock it and get in. I always recommend a modern metal fiberglass insulated door to keep the elements and the pests out. All right. So a lot of the old plumbing's been cut out and modern PVC plumbing has been put in. When you look at plumbing and you see connections like this is just a rubber boot, 2 aerosol clamps that you can buy in Home Depot. Plumbers don't use these. Do they work? Yes. How long it'll last? We don't know. But plumbers use much more I'd say like commercial, industrial type. It'd be a wide metal band that holds it. This is more homeownerish, handymanish. You just want to know, so in the future, you might have a problem in a spot like this.
And once you switch, it's supposed to stay, right?
And once you switch, it's supposed to stay. We need some plumbing, some electric,
A little bit of everything.
some heating systems, a little bit of everything.
When we look at these, I kind of look at them as like, all right, basically going to full gut it. But you know, in a rental property, there are lots of places where we're not full gutting it, but we are going to do all, first things first, secure the foundation, right? Make sure all our heating systems are working, no water's getting in from the roofing or the siding, right? Plumbing, heat, electrical, all the important things. All the other stuff is pretty cosmetics. I care about the big important things. That's why we're down here and showing you
Yes.
what Ron's looking for and what I'm looking for, and things that your typical home buyer and definitely your first-time home buyer probably is not aware of. Right? So I trapped you for like our outro
No, it's
underneath
all
a
right.
plumbing pipe.
I'm trying not to lose my eye on this. Look at this, the spear they left here for.
Yeah, it's nice
for
and
someone.
safe. No
So-
hazards down here for tenants to walk into.
Not to push plumbers and electricians again, but people who are usually licensed and take care and pull permits, they're going to put a new hanger to hold the pipe up, but they're not just going to leave the old hanger here for you to catch on and things like that. They're going to remove all the dead, broken pipe, things like that, take it away, put all new modern pipe.
In all my contracts, it
In a
says that they have to leave it clean. Sorry, what are you going to say?
I know, because you've dealt with people.
Well, I'm saying
contracts
to
before.
confirm your point, like it's
Yeah.
even they got to clean up
You have
after
to make sure
themselves.
all the trash and things are left, because you can't just leave this. Well, you can do anything, but you don't want to leave this in your basement, because eventually you want to make this a better place. Maybe you need to put a laundry down here for the units or things like that.
Laundry, clean floor.
Clean floor. Yeah, nice clean floor.
Ventilation.
Ventilation. Windows with light would be nice.
Yeah. Thank you for doing this, Ron. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Anytime. Thank you for finding such a
Such a nice place. Do you want to come under the light and not stab yourself in here?
such an interesting basement.
So this is on, right? Cardinal Home Inspection. I'm gonna make sure that I have a link to all of your stuff, so your website, and people can contact you if they're looking for a home inspector in the greater Boston area. Like we said, don't make him drive too far. He is the best, but he doesn't need to drive too far. So we'll have a link for all of that. You can contact him. But yeah, like, subscribe, follow, all that fun stuff. Ron is the best, truly.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
Thanks for having me.
Later, guys.